Okay, it's about to go live. And so we'll just let it hang for a minute or two. I'm going to grab some water. Sound good?
Sounds good. I think they can hear us though.
Okay, nice. I can see that there's people here on YouTube, so that's all working. And we also have some folks here with us on Zoom. So if you're curious why some are on Zoom, that's members of the upcoming 8-week course. If you're in there and you want to join in on Zoom and possibly work one-on-one live, you'll see that in your email. So welcome everyone. Thanks so much for being here. I am running the console. That's just why I'm kicking things off. Let me stop sharing the screen here. So GP Walsh and I are happy to be here with you today to kind of go through inner reconciliation with you, give you a chance to do some live process with it and to potentially work one-on-one with some of the folks who are part of this upcoming 8-week course, which we will tell you about. And GP, do you still plan to kick it off with a meditation?
Yep. Just awesome. Make me visible. I can't make myself.
Oh, that's right. I have to give you permission.
You have to give me permission, yeah.
To show himself. No, I think I'm just going to enjoy my power here, everybody.
That's right. I'll just be the voice of God. The disembodied creature that everybody believes in.
So give it a try now.
There we are. Start my video.
Very good.
There we are. I'm going to put it in gallery view.
So good. Perfect.
So I could see you. Yeah. Wonderful. Where are you, by the way? Are you in New York or Pennsylvania?
Right now I'm in Pennsylvania. If I have the opportunity, there's a lot more space here. So this is where the nice equipment is set up. The New York apartment is too small to do all that. Pennsylvania is where I'm from originally, for the people who care about such things.
Yeah. Can we hear it from Pennsylvania?
Yeah. Represent all the Pennsylvania people on the call.
All right, yes, it's my job to get us started here. I'm going to start with just a short meditation to create the space, and then Evan's going to take us through an exercise, and we're just going to open it up to everyone else. It is in the Zoom room, and I do believe we will look at some of the questions that come in through YouTube. If we can, I don't know how that works here on Zoom. Anyway, welcome everybody to this this demonstration, this live demonstration of this process that I came up with Evan's support and help. He's been with me since the beginning of it, even before it had the name Inner Reconciliation. And he's been my chief guinea pig and now my co-teacher of it. So I'm just going to invite you right now to close your eyes and let go of everything. Past, future, everything that's happened up to this moment in your life, including today, and any of the childhood stuff and the traumas that we will eventually be able to dissolve. But for right now, just don't engage with the past. And also let go of your engagement with the future. What would you like things to be like? What you'd like your life to be like? All of your aspirations, even for healing or enlightenment, just let it all go for a moment. Just be here. Just you. And just let your attention begin to sink inward. If you're feeling really distracted or your mind is very agitated, just put your attention on your breath for a minute. Consciously slow it down, deepen it, and just feel how you naturally begin to just reconnect to the body. Which is a very important part of this process. And you can notice that thoughts are going on. You can even notice how habitually we tend to just go along with them and get involved in the whole narrative of it. But also notice how you can simply disengage from it. Know that it's there, but not be so attached to it. Just watching it go by. The same is true of feelings. The same is true of sensations. It's like you've moved yourself into this different space. A very open space, a very gentle space. It's not pushing things away and it's not grabbing on to things. And notice just simply by doing that, what effect does it have on your body? Notice that even the slightest degree of attention moves away from the mind, it begins to get quieter. Your whole body just begins to calm down a little bit. Just entering into this very open and accepting space. It's really quite present right now. And you're very much here. Now, this is a starting point. It's kind of ground zero, the place where you can always go. At first, it may take some effort because we're so used to reacting to our emotions and our thoughts. Just notice that you don't have to. It's very powerful. And from this place, all of the pains and the wounds and the vows and the assumptions that have influenced your whole life can be very gently brought up and scrutinized. This is simply the yoga of allowing. You're just saying yes to whatever's here. No agenda, no goal, no intention, just pure presence. Notice how natural it is, how naturally you fall into that. And with practice, it gets easier and easier and deeper and deeper. Because in this moment, you have no conflict with your own self. Notice that without thinking, without referring to the emotions and sensations, without having any kind of story about what's going on, everything is completely okay. Just notice is that you're not hypnotized, you're not in a trance. You're simply putting your attention on yourself. All right, so take a nice deep breath. Move your body a little bit. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And let's let Evan lead us in an exercise. Can't hear you, buddy.
Great. So we'll just extend it from there a little bit. And I like the yoga metaphor and I like the yoga analogy because anyone who's done yoga or even familiar with the concept, there's the posture and then there's the rest. There's the asana and then there's the art of being still, the art of actually resting and recovering. And so you could make a comparison to what we just did as sort of being a foundation of being more centered, more grounded, as well as the art form of actually practicing being still, practicing being aware without, which is something I see over and over, the thought, the idea of I'm just going to be passive. And so what happens a lot is we're just sitting there with all of our tension, all of our frustration, all of the unconscious stuff going on, telling ourselves, well, I'm just going to accept it. But every part of you is fighting it and resisting it. So to take that first part and just as best you can, just looking at it as a posture and accepting wherever you're at with it, right? Because one of the biggest challenges is when distracting thoughts come up, when you feel agitated, when you feel like, oh, I'm not sure I did that well, or I don't feel particularly accepting of, this pain in my body or whatever's going on in my life, to make sure you don't interpret that as therefore I'm doing this wrong, or therefore I don't know how to do this. Right? That is part of what's coming up. And so the practice is to actually, I'm going to say the word embrace it, but just saying I acknowledge that that's here. And if I'm aware of the fact that I'm frustrated and agitated, that's still doing the practice. You bring awareness to that. So the first mode of inner reconciliation is invite. There's three things: invite, inquire, and integrate. And I'm just going to do a little bit with invite right now and help get you in tune with that particular mode, that particular flavor of it. So allow yourself to just take another deep breath and settling in as best you can to wherever you were just taken. And be honest with yourself. Something that's going on that you have an opinion about in your life that you're not thrilled about. And I really want to emphasize this honesty because depending on your background, depending on your spiritual or religious or other foundations, you might say, well, I know that's not me. But do you know that? Or are you actually a little frustrated about it? And just own it. if that's the case. And I've met very few people who don't have opinions about what's going on in their life to some extent, no matter how eloquently they speak about, how they've transcended it at all, right? So I want you to zero in on that and just say, cool, if I'm really going to be true and honest, I'm going to invite up, I'm actually going to look, what's something going on that still has a little bit of hold on me, that still, I'm going to say, has the ability to affect how I feel. Before you have any thought or philosophy about it, you just feel that sense of something's going on here. You feel free to share it if you like. That sense of, could be something physical in your body. You say, man, I wish this wasn't here. Something going on in the world, something going on in your life, where not just a desire for it to not be there, which is, of course, there's all things we wish would be different. Right? There's plenty of things going on the planet, even if your own life is going pretty smoothly. Right? There's a lot of people suffering. But you're looking for the particular way it has a hold on you. And the way you are interpreting it, possibly fighting it, possibly resisting. And for now, in that sort of awareness, sort of the observer place, I do want you to experiment with just looking at it, like where GP brought you to. Just being aware that it's there, being aware of whatever internal reactions, whatever physical, emotional reactions are there, and aware of whatever your interpretation might be, including spiritual interpretations of it, like, well, this isn't me and this isn't real. Just letting all of it be there. But now I want you to think about that word invite, right? In inner reconciliation, the first step is invite, which has a little bit more of a character to it than simply, I'm just watching it. Right? So to make this a little more concrete for you, imagine that you could anthropomorphize this energy, this feeling inside you. Like there was a person standing outside your door in the rain, in distress. There's something out there that actually looks like it could use some help or use some attention. And let yourself settle into that scenario for a moment. Now, it's perfectly valid to say, I'm just going to be here. I'm just going to sit in my house and look at that person standing in the rain and say, all is well. Little different to actually invite them in. Right? And so experiment with that now, with whatever emotion, physical, whatever's going on with you, where you have this ability now, as best you can, where you can say, I see that, I'm the awareness of that, I observe that. Now, can I actually invite it? And that's more of a posture, it's more of a spirit. Okay, I'm actually going to welcome this thing. I'm going to welcome it to the conversation. I'm going to invite it in to potentially be engaged with. If you extend that invitation, it doesn't mean the person's necessarily going to leave or walk up into your house. But it's a different energy than simply, I see that. And just experiment with that for a moment and watch what happens. And now this may go in a multitude of different directions. One of the places this might go is back to you, and you say, I don't actually feel comfortable inviting them. Now there's a whole universe there to work with. Right? So that's perfectly valid and perfectly interesting and useful information to see if that's what comes up inside you. I don't necessarily, I like being over here just looking at it. If that's the case, one thing you can just experiment with is, okay, well, am I really free then? Am I really so non-attached if I can't also engage with the thing? Can I observe it? Can I also at least entertain engaging with it? So it may go in that direction. It may be that this energy, this feeling, this whatever's going on with you actually kind of becomes more present. It starts to enter into the conversation. And with that, if you're there, just ask your own version of, hey, what's going on? Like, how are you? But you mean it. Right? When you see a friend and you really want to know, hey, what's happening there? And just experiment with if you can tap into that curiosity. So the invitation is to not only see what's going on, but to notice something in particular that has a little pull on you. It has a charge behind it. And instead of dismissing it or trying to just and so I'll just leave it at that. I think that's a good place to kind of GP sets the foundational stage. This is the beginning of starting the conversation. And to just see how that feels for you, we welcome any comments or feedback to see what's going on at this stage of the process, or the first stage. Even just trying to kind of settle yourself into that foundation of just being kind of grounded and aware of what's happening. Or this is what's happening when I experiment with actually even just opening myself to engaging with something that has a bit of pull in my life, has a bit of energy behind it. And also for those of you on the Zoom call now at this point, if you want to raise your hand, if you have something you want to work with us a little bit one-on-one, you could raise your hand now so we're aware of what's happening there and can manage that time. And yeah, GP, if you have anything to add to that or expand upon about this kind of foundation. I will just say I put in the chat on YouTube, there's the link if you're interested in this 8-week program that's going on that the people on the Zoom call are engaging with. It's an 8-week course just to go deeper into this and to set the stage for the facilitating that you're going to actually see us do. This was a guided exercise, but you're then going to see us actually facilitate, meaning work with some people. So that link is in the chat.
Yeah, not much though. I mean, it's very thorough and very clear. And I think you can see that before you could actually engage with something, and some of the things we have to engage with are very deep traumas. They're very deep wounds that have affected us all our lives. And until there's an open space for engaging, no conversation is going to take place. So an open-hearted capacity to let yourself really invite this energy into your space is essential. And when I talk about, we talk about this energy, and I like the fact that Evan personified it. It's almost archetypal because these aren't actual entities inside of you, right? Although, because our sense of self has been so fragmented, they feel as if they're something else that is something foreign to us that is resisting it. And everybody's had that experience, right? Of self-sabotage or trying to do something, you feel all this resistance. And yet in your mind, it's like, why am I resisting this? I want this, right? And yet there seems to be like this little gargoyle inside that's, trying to chew it all up. So this whole process of inner reconciliation is not self-help, it is self-discovery. We're trying to come into the place where we really understand the mechanisms of our own lives, the mechanisms that have created and influenced our lives, and that are really getting in the way of you bringing your life to a different level. So I invite anyone now who'd like to work. I see Penny has her hand up. But before I do that, when you, what we really like to do in this demonstration is to not be theoretical about it, right? Really come up with something that's coming up in you that does have resistance around it, does have a charge. It is important, right? And if you can't come up with anything right away, just you can't find that guy standing in the rain outside your door. Just ask yourself the question: what is it in my life I really, really want? Really make a difference in my life, but I don't have? I've used that question 1,000 times, and if you sit with it for even a minute, something will come up. Even some of the things that we've wanted and just given up on because we don't think we can have them, we don't have the ability, it just hasn't worked out. And one can only be with a desire for so long before you either have to suppress it or it gets fulfilled. But the thing about desires, real ones, the real ones that are self-expression, they just don't go away. They persist. And therefore, if you let yourself be present with that, you will find things coming up that feel lacking, that feel distressed, that feel disillusioned or disappointed. So just be with that for a second, and see what you can come up with about that. And when it does, don't hesitate. Those of you on the Zoom call, raise your hand, because if you let it sit for a while, your mind's going to say, oh, no, it's not that important. No, never mind. You don't need to do that. But the moment something comes up, hit that button. and we will work with you. So, and yes, as Evan's pointing out, there's no need for you to be on video if you don't want to. We can do it just with audio. But we do want to interact with you, and not just through the chat or the Q&A. So we do have one hand up there, Evan.
Yeah, let me bring her up. Hello.
Hello, Penny.
Hi, Sifu. Hi, Evan.
Hey, how are you?
As I was going through the exercise with you, the one outside the door, it was me in the rain.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and Evans go on and saying that, to invite, and the one that I'm seeing, the me who is outside in the rain, I cannot perceive myself, but however, I'm kind of like the sun who went and sheltered the me in the rain. So even though it's a rain, but it's raining, however, there's sun there. There's sun ray coming down and shining down on her. And at that point, there is this energy moving within me. and there is this beautiful burst of energy, and I just cannot stop smiling, and that's how I feel. And
Okay, so what I want you to do right now, Penny, is I want you to just sit with both of those energies for a while, right? Don't be so quick to let the person in the rain off the hook, right? Right. If there's anything remaining, we want to be thorough, right?
Right.
That sun that comes out. Remember, this is really metaphorical. It's all you. The person outside the door is you. The rain is you. The sun is you. It's all you, right? But the energy system communicates in so many extraordinary ways, oftentimes through dreams and just these images that come to mind, like the sun comes out, right? But I always want to make sure that when something like the sun comes out, that it isn't, that there really is, it's coming from, not from the mind, which wants that to happen, but it's actually emerging from the same place that being at the door in the rain came from. So just be with that for a second. Tune into your body and that energy that you're feeling. You can't stop smiling, right? Check in with the rest of your body. Just tell me what's going on, right, throughout the rest of your body. Especially when you think of that person. I see your comment that you said that there's an aspect that wanted to laugh and giggle, and I can't have fun coming up, right? So there was actually some words that got associated with this energy that was out in the rain. And the door is, I can't have fun, an assumption, right? Let's just be with that for a second. Let's just stay with that idea. And I like the fact that it came up for you in a very concrete way, a very absolute statement. I can't have fun. Not a question, a statement of fact. I just noticed that. And what does that feel like? When you say that to yourself, I can't have fun. How true does it feel?
It's very true.
It's very true. Good. So I just want you to invite that in now. Now notice there's a lot of resistance to that, right?
Yeah.
And if we were doing self-help or, positive thinking, is okay, well, we have to get rid of this idea. And I don't want you to do that. I want you to actually embrace that, because there is an energy in you, as I know there is for many of the people listening, that actually believes this. Right? Understand, something that just appears in your mind is a reflection of something different. So your mind just goes, oh, that's not really true. Of course I can have fun, right? But there's this disowned self in you. Right? That for this, it's a statement of truth. So I want you to just agree with it. I can't have fun. And as you just are with that, not arguing with it, but recognizing that there's a wounded part of you for which that is a truth, and it has been implementing that truth your whole life. And it came from a time in your life when it was dangerous to have fun. I want you to simply pose a question inside. Just ask, is it dangerous to just have fun? Tell me what happens.
Yes, a
Yes,
very
indeed.
strong energy is coming up, pulling it back. So
Very
there's
good.
a contrary here.
Yeah. And you can tell that this energy is not coming from your mind.
No.
No. Yeah. Very different feel about it. In reconciliation, we do not work with the mind very much. It's kind of a secondary organ. All right, good. So ask it, why? Why isn't it safe? Did something happen? Doesn't have to tell us what happened, but did something happen?
Mm. It's kind of like a culture thing that
Culture thing.
we don't deserve to have fun. Fun is a luxury in our culture. You got to
I
work,
see.
work, work, and fun is out of touch, out of reach.
Good, good. Now, is there a particular place in your body you're feeling that?
My nymph,
In basically the second
nymph,
chakra area?
yeah,
Yeah, the
or
nymph.
the root
Yeah,
chakra, the story, the tribe.
yeah, way down at the depths of you. Yes. Yeah, right down where all the juice of life is, all the energy of life is inhibited. Good. Now just say to it, I totally accept it. You're absolutely right. This is what happened. This is what happened to us. And now just ask, well, I know you have to protect me because if I tried to have fun, it would be dangerous. Does that seem true when I say that? Does that feel true to you?
Yes,
Yes. Okay. So the system is simply trying to protect you from getting hurt, right?
yes,
So if it's trying to protect you from getting hurt, is it a friend or an enemy?
a friend.
Yeah, it's a friend. Can you have those feelings of friendship towards it?
Yes,
Yeah. Notice the difference. This is really inviting now, isn't it? It's hard to invite your enemies to tea, but it's not hard to invite your friends to tea.
right.
So I want you to just pose a very simple question. Would it be possible for you to protect me and we have fun at the same time? And really want to know the answer, even if the answer is no. No preference for an answer.
I can feel the energy from the nymph right now getting stronger.
Ah, very good. For those of you who don't understand what she's talking about, the nymph is an archetype I use for a particular, also in the chakra system, but it's an aspect of your being that is about fun and freedom and pleasure and engagement with life, as opposed to the tribe, which is all about safety and security and survival and the like. In the chakra system, that's the first chakra and the second chakra. In my system, it's the tribe and the nymph. So you can feel that energy getting stronger. Is there resistance to that getting stronger?
A little bit. And
Yeah.
now I can
Well,
feel it in my heart now, too.
good. Yeah. Don't take sides, right?
Yeah.
We need both. We need the energy for the juice of life. We need the energy of protection. We cannot survive without both. Right? So your job in the heart is to not have a preference, not take sides. And tell me what the feelings are in the body itself.
It's moving.
Mm-hmm. From
and
where
it's
to where?
more from the nymph to the peacemaker, and now
From,
it's more and more to the peacemaker.
so it's moving up to the heart.
Yes.
Right. Again, now check in with keep checking back to the tribe, to the safety mechanism. So is this okay? We don't want to do anything that affects safety. Sure, you're engaging it in this. You're not just trying to suppress it, which is what we do try to do most of the time to get what we want. We want to suppress resistance.
There's no answer back from the tribe, but I feel that the energy is calmer now.
Coming up, good. I want you to say to yourself, I can't have fun.
I can't have fun.
Does that feel more or less true?
Can or cannot?
Can't. I cannot have fun.
I can't have fun.
Does it feel more or less true?
Still true.
Still true. Is it as true?
Not as true.
Okay, good. So that feeling that it's not quite true, put your attention there and just invite whatever it is that is not so sure about that to just be totally present. And again, for everybody listening, I don't have a goal here. I'm not trying to get to the point where it's all cleared away, right? Because then I would have an agenda. And if I did, the energy would be resisting me. So there's no goal here. There's no marker that we're trying to establish. This is the place we're getting. We're working with every little detail, every little nuance as it comes up. And yes, of course, ultimately we want freedom. But freedom comes from an inner unity. And everybody has to be at the party. So is there any kind of clear picture or message or anything that's coming from that resistant element?
No clear picture, but I can feel my visionary is moving as well.
A little bit more of what you could possibly do with life.
Yeah.
Is there a particular vision you've had for your life, or an ambition or a desire that has gone unfulfilled?
There's a lot of voices and vision right now in my life, but it's all at the very beginning.
Okay. And that's fine. Why don't you bring one of them up right now? One of your visions for life. Especially one that would be fun.
Sorry, I don't know how to be fun. All my life I have been very serious. You gotta be serious. So I don't know what is fun.
You've gotta be serious, yes. Yes, I've gotta be serious. Yes. Serious is safe. Fun is frivolous. I just accept that. These are truths to part of you, right?
Yeah.
And that's okay. You're completely accepting of it. So even that question when I said, bring up something that would really be fun. Oh, I can't be fun. Yeah, I can't have fun. Now notice that that's not insignificant. That's just part of that same energy.
Right.
We're not using our minds to try to get rid of that thought. That's a waste of time. We notice that thought's coming from somewhere, right? It's not safe to have fun. Simple as that.
Right.
And for much of your life, it wasn't. So it's not like it's stupid. It rightly assessed the condition at the time. Now, put this question just down into your heart there. Is it possible to be safe and have at least more fun than I'm having?
There is a voice from my storyteller mind saying, say yes, say yes, say yes.
Yeah, that's right. He wants to hear the answer yes. No,
Yes.
he doesn't. It's very good that you recognize that's coming from the mind.
There's
So
no
it isn't
answer
authentic.
coming up yet.
There's no answer. Okay, good. That's fine. Now, overall, how are you feeling right now as compared to when we started?
I felt recenter.
Good. Good. And notice that in the beginning, when the sunshine came out, I just couldn't let it go at that. Because the system has all sorts of different ways to distract us from going down into the depths. And if it can occupy you up here a little bit and give you a little bit of relief, it's actually a way for it to just, to put you off. It's very clever. It's very clever, but all it's trying to do is protect you. That's it. Just keep bearing that in mind.
Right.
And now say to yourself once again, I cannot have fun.
I cannot have fun.
And how true does that feel?
It's true.
Okay. How about this? Try this. I can have a little bit more fun than I have been, if it's
I
safe.
can have a little bit more fun. And it's safe. Okay.
Okay, we got an okay on that. Okay.
Yes.
Good. But this is how you work with it. It's very, very simple. And notice, I didn't lead it. I didn't try to trick it into coming into a position, right? Because you can't, right? You have to engage with it honestly, right? And a little opening took place, right? There's an awareness. Now, how do you feel overall?
I feel calm. Before
Yes.
coming into here, it was just explode with all this energy, but now I'm calm.
Okay. Calmness is the nervous system as it drops out of the defensive mode, which is stress, by the way. So when the nervous system simply starts to defend less, that's when, because it's not putting the whole system at a certain level of alert. On a conscious level, we feel that as a quieting or a calming or a relaxation. So I'm going to let it go for now with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Penny. Thank you
Thank you,
for
CP.
volunteering. Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to make, oops. Oh, did I lose him again? Ah, Evan said he was having trouble with his internet. He was back, but now he's gone. Let me text him really quick. He disappeared again. Disappeared again. All right, so I will. Oh, now he's back. Gregor is connecting to audio. You connected to audio. All right. I don't seem to be able to make you the host. So you want to unmute for a second? Can you unmute? And internet is going out. I'm always on the phone. Okay. But can you unmute? So we can at least hear you. Oh yeah, it's
jump
bad.
on my phone. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see if I can connect here.
Yeah, you're breaking up a lot. I'm going to move on with Sally, and I hope we get you back because you do. I want people to see you do it as well because you do it differently than me, and just as well. Let's see. Okay, Sally. Uh-oh, am I the host? GP, me, more. I think we don't have a host. You are the host now. Okay, now I'm the host. Now I can ask. Now, okay. Not, you need to promote Sally. Okay, I'm promoting you to panelist, Sally. You can leave your video off or on as you see fit because you have an older version of Zoom. Evan is the host again. But I can't hear you. You there?
I'm here.
Sally's there. What about you,
Hi.
Evan? Good. All right. Well, let's jump in so we don't have too much technical. I'll edit this out of the technical stuff out of the replays for everyone. So Evan's going to come in like 5 times just to be present. So, Sally, so good to see you.
See you too. So I was going to put the video on, but then I started crying, so I thought I don't really want to be on YouTube after I've been crying.
Okay, my mascara's running. We can't have that.
We were feeling really good, and we're like, oh yeah, we're ready to be on video. And then obviously working with you, and things shift. So
okay, very good.
Yeah, the person at the door was me, the same as Penny. So it was, when it was me, and I was in tears, and that wasn't how I was feeling before. I was feeling quite frustrated, quite annoyed. But then when I invited in, there was the sadness, there was the tears, and the feeling for me is good things get taken from me. So that just came through and it was just I don't allow myself to feel. I numb things, and so it's almost like if I don't open up that box, then I can't get hurt.
Yes.
So I'm staying on like a level plane rather than allowing myself to rise up.
Yes.
Lowering myself.
Absolutely. Stay in the background.
Yeah.
Stay in the chorus line.
Yeah.
Evan, can you
Yeah. Sorry, everyone. Just be aware I might drop
good.
off at any moment because there are probably the floods here. So be ready to take over GP at any second.
I am. I won't go running off.
If I disappear, that's why. Okay, great. So Sally, could you just repeat the last part? I was having a little trouble hearing you about just the very last part about.
Yeah, I lower myself. I don't allow myself to rise. So it's like I don't allow myself to connect with feeling if something joyful comes in, I'll lower myself just in case. So I'm keeping myself on a level plane. And
Interesting.
so avoiding that disappointment, avoiding that it being taken from me. So if I don't quite touch it, then it's almost like it didn't really happen.
Okay. And you during this first exercise, did you experience that happen? Did you experience a feeling come up and actually feel yourself distance yourself from that feeling?
What I felt initially was frustration. I felt annoyed when we started doing it because you asked us to connect to a feeling and
Got it.
something that's annoying me currently. Now, I did feel annoyed. I felt frustrated. I felt the resistance, the tension. But then when I invited, the person that stood there was me, and I was in tears. And it was the sadness that broke through the frustration. It was just this, and it's this thing that I could feel that good things get taken from me. So I lower myself, I lower my not expectation. It's like I don't touch the good. So as if it does get taken, then I've never really committed to it anyway.
Okay. Yeah. Now let's see if we can bring up something in your life where you can feel or that you know brings up something good. Could be a person that you love, an experience or something that you want to do that you know brings up that sense of this could be good if I were to connect to it, but you feel that distance. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
And let me know when you've got something like that. You don't have to share what it is, it's totally optional.
Yeah, I've got that feeling. Yeah.
Okay. So now just pause at the moment where you can see yourself. You actually can perceive that there's a good feeling there. There is some sort of, let's call it positive energy.
Yeah.
And immediately something comes in that says, if you could describe the experience, does it pull your attention away from it immediately? Does it actually say, don't go there? How do you experience it?
It's like it drops down straight away. So I have the joyful feeling of when I'm feeling this connection, and then straight away something just pulls me straight out of it. Like I feel quite heavy in the pit of my stomach. It's like really low down in my body. It just pulls. It's like I've been pulled down to there. Pulls me away from it.
Okay. And does any part of you react to being pulled?
I just don't resist. I go with it.
Okay.
I don't stop it. Yeah.
Okay, good. And let's start with, you already have, could be accurate. I'm just saying, I'm not saying it dismissively when I say an interpretation that it's holding you back from disappointment. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now, just to make sure that that's really clear, and maybe we get a little more detail from it, as you feel that thing that pulls you back, just go ahead and ask the question, why do we need to be pulled back? Maybe it's disappointment, but just ask if there's anything else, any level of detail, maybe even any clarity as to where that impulse comes from. Maybe maybe there's some experiences there of being disappointed. So just a curiosity about that.
Yeah, I've got the feeling of not feeling safe.
Mm-hmm.
So when I start connecting with it, it just doesn't feel safe to, yeah.
Okay.
Like to shine, when I feel joyful, it's like I shine, and it doesn't feel safe to do so.
Okay. What happens or happened, and again, you don't have to share the details.
Yeah.
You're asking the question, what happened when you shined, or if you were to shine?
I get knocked down.
Knockdown is there something specific? Is it somebody saying something to you? Is life throwing a circumstance at you?
Yeah, it feels like people pushing me down, and I feel young. I'm not an adult, so
Okay, so you feel a young version of yourself?
yeah, yeah.
And if you can describe the push down, are you seeing disapproving faces? Are you hearing certain words?
I'm surrounded.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
I'm surrounded.
Hmm.
It's people. I'm surrounded by people pushing me down,
Hmm.
and they're bigger, taller, stronger. Yeah,
Okay. Do you recognize them?
some of them I do. Yeah, some of them have blank faces. They're not. Um, they haven't got eyes or nose or mouth. There's like a nondescript, and then some of them are faces I do know.
Hmm. Okay. So in this case, what I want you to do is I actually want you to pull back a little bit to the part, let's call it, that's seeing all of this happening, the part that's able to describe this to me.
Yeah.
And I want the little girl who's surrounded by these people, see if you can put your eyes on her and let her feel that you're there. Let me know if that's too abstract.
I could do it. Yeah.
Okay.
She's really
And
small. I could feel.
yeah. And that, does it feel like you're even bigger than the people that are surrounding her?
Yeah, I feel more like an energy
Okay.
that feels quite yeah, a living energy around her.
Good. And what would she really love to have happen? Would she want to be pulled away from that? Would she want those people to disappear?
Yeah, she wants my arms around her and pull her away.
All right, see if that's accessible to you. Just yank her out of there if it's possible.
I've got my arms around her, but she's still quite scared. She doesn't trust.
Oh, good. Okay, just stay there. Yeah. And so let her call the shots as to what you do and how close you get and what action, if any, you take.
She's happy with my arms around her, but the pull, she's resisting the pull. So if I try and pull her from there, she resists it. But she's happy
Okay.
to have around.
Just keep returning. Remember, the original question is what does she want?
Yeah.
So if she wants you to stay there with your arms, you just do that.
Yeah.
And just keep in the spirit of that question. Like, your purpose there is, okay, what does she need now? And what does she need now?
It feels that she just needs love. I can feel my arms around her it feels like she's softening with my arms around her and with the love.
Good.
She feels softer because she was
Very
real
good.
crunched up before, and she just feels softer now.
Excellent. So just let that play out as it needs to.
Yeah.
And then you'll get a sense of if that's where to kind of pause and just, that's the connection. That's all that needs to happen. And it's just fostering that. Or give it a moment and see if it unfolds anymore, and if there's any further to go with that.
She's starting to move with me, so rather than being yanked, it's almost like a bum shuffle away from. So it's like a slowly.
Cool.
Yeah, it felt like the pull away felt like a force to her. So it was a resist. She was resisting it, but me being beside her and just with my arm around her, she can like bum shuffle away.
Great. Does she want to kind of ease away from that situation now?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Feels
So
like she wants to be outside. So yeah.
yeah, let her kind of dictate the pace
Yeah.
as you move to wherever she needs to move.
Yeah. She wants to be outside. She wants to be free. She wants to be free.
Very good. And so as you start to move outside and you start to get out of that situation,
Yeah.
just check in with her again, see if she wants to just sit outside, if she needs anything else.
She wants to lie down with me holding her hand, but she wants her body to be uncrunched. She wants to expand. It's like she just lay down like a star, legs, arms and legs out. She just wants to expand.
Good. Does it feel okay to do that, or does anything need to help it unwind a little bit?
she's got my hand. So as long as she's got my hand, she can do it.
Excellent. Yeah, so just adjust that posture in however way that she can still hold on to you and still stretch out. And how is she feeling right now?
She's enjoying breathing. It feels like she can breathe deeper.
Good.
Stay breathing.
And now do you both feel, at least to each other, a little bit more connection?
Yeah, definitely. Because she wants me to. She's got me lying the same as her, so we're mirroring each other.
Okay, great. So just notice that for about probably 5-6 minutes at least, this connection has been okay.
Yeah.
There's been no need to pull away from each other.
No.
And so use this to just enjoy that you're both right now able to stay connected to something positive.
Yeah.
And notice if either of you feel the need to shrink down.
Yeah. We both feel free outside, so we both feel the freedom.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah. And so now just let it sink in that at least under these circumstances, this type of feeling, this type of connection is possible.
Yeah.
It's not at all something that you're incapable of or that you need to shrink down. It's just in that particular set of circumstances, the appropriate response when you're surrounded by a bunch of scary people is to shrink down.
Yeah.
And also notice that it was the environment of those people and whatever they represented. And just for people listening, I know you know this already, but notice we don't have to dissect who they are. And maybe that was your mom that said something to you when you were 6. It's not necessary to go there. If it is, it will come up. But in this case, it's important to know that it didn't matter too much who they were. Just get the hell out of there, right?
Yeah.
And so using that to say, okay, we can feel positive and connected to each other.
And it feels peaceful as well.
Great. And then you can let, in a similar way, however you conceptualize it, her or you, lead the pace as far as how that level of sort of comfort and connection can stretch out a little further, right?
Okay.
Where it's safe to feel connected. Right now, you know that here in outside with her is safe and connected.
Yeah.
And so by cultivating that feeling more and more, hang out outside together as much as you need to let that kind of water the soil.
Yeah.
Right? Let your whole body, let your system feel that, okay, safety, being outside, feeling safe, feeling connected is good for me.
Yeah.
The feeling of connection in and of itself doesn't have a danger.
No.
And that's what's super important here, so that the association becomes not, if I connect or if I feel positive feelings, I'm going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
It's more specific than that. It's, well, when I'm surrounded by those people and that energy is, occupying the space inside me, then it becomes unsafe to do that. But we don't need them here. And so see if you can maintain a certain feeling of her being by your side or you by her side
Yeah.
as you start to just bring yourself, let's call it back to the call, right?
Okay.
And see if you can still feel a certain sense of that
Yeah.
connection, so that not only is it safe to connect as a concept, but I actually am connected and it feels good.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Anything else that she wants or needs right now?
Yeah, she showed me the door again, and it's like there was this. It's like she doesn't want to go. It's like a door. She doesn't want to go inside again. So I can feel there's nervousness when she
Hmm.
brings the freedom. So if we feel this space around us, and she's completely relaxed. But I did get this feeling of the door is not. She doesn't want to go through a door.
And is there anything on the other side of that door that you ever need to go in there for?
No.
Good. Good news. Right? You know, you probably don't walk into bear traps either. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
as long as there's nothing you need on the other end of that
Yeah.
door,
No.
then you're good.
Yeah.
So you can let her know, okay, cool. No, we won't go in there.
Yeah.
And checking in with her again now, seeing how she responds to that and if there's anything else.
She's pleased to be heard. So
Yeah,
that,
good.
she's smiling because she's being heard.
Good. Yeah, let her know she has a permanent place at the table to be heard.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well done. Any other comments, questions, concerns?
It just feels absolutely lovely. So thank you. Really
Awesome.
peaceful. So thank you very much.
Very good. Thanks so much. Thanks for volunteering. Yeah, so that was a cool example, and you'll see that a lot if you work more with inner reconciliation or GP or myself. Sometimes it's very, the word coming to mind is cinematic. Like there's a character, like there's this girl, and I'm talking to her. You know, important if that's not how it shows up for you, that's not like the correct way. As someone who does these kind of sessions privately, GP and I can tell you, or in calls like this, some people that's how it comes up. Sometimes for just one topic, that's how it comes up. It's this very like, there she is, we're interacting with a being. And other times it's not like that. It's a little more like there's this voice, there's just this feeling in my body, there's this feeling in my body. But it's fascinating and interesting to see it. And again, you see how non-conceptual the whole thing is, right? We're not talking about safety. It's like, I am on the ground, there are a bunch of hooded people around me. Get in here and help me, right?
That's what makes it so much fun. And yeah, we have two very different examples. I'm glad the way it went, because with Penny, other than the sun coming out at the beginning, the dialogue was all disembodied voices and feelings. She was saying it was in my nymph, which basically is down around the lower dantian, below the solar plexus, right? And then it moved up into her heart. So it was all disembodied feelings, right? And then with Sally, it was Cecil B. DeMille, right? Everybody was there as character, as it was the very first time this happened to me, which I have I talked about in that video series, where inner reconciliation kind of got its start. It was very vivid, right? It was quite literally a waking dream, and it's important for people to know who maybe just being exposed to this, that the way we're doing this, it's not fantasy. Right? This is not just the mind kind of inventing things. You get into this state where literally things are coming out of you that you didn't even know were there. They're not being manufactured by your mind. And this is the whole point of the inviting, is to create an inner space wherein the stuff that's buried deep inside of us has the opportunity to come up thus be healed. Because if it doesn't come up, it can't, right? It's just going to fester there. And, it's interesting because when Sally had went to the little girl, first she tried to take her out, and the girl wouldn't go, right? Now, as a practitioner of it, you think, oh no, let's try to get her out. No, okay, stay. Now you just stay there then. You always let the energy lead you. And if she could not get her out at all, then there may have been something that those hooded figures needed to do or to say, right? Maybe something specific had to come out of there. But once again, the most fun part about this is you simply have no idea which direction it's going to go. Everybody has their own kind of personal mythology that unfolds during one of these sessions, and Evan can verify that we've had some really strange things come up, really strange things. But the most important point I want to make is that notice that at every step of the way we are reconciling with the energy. Right? There's a connection to it, and right now in the time of COVID, the largest human deprivation is human connection. It's the thing that we're all suffering from the most. But you can see how that's a reflection of the disconnection we have with ourselves. And oftentimes I'll call inner reconciliation soul reconnection, because you're gathering the fragments that have been splintered as really as children and bringing it back together into its wholeness. And you probably also notice we've talked about, you've seen us doing the inquiry, and you saw us do the inviting. Notice what happened was, very naturally, all of a sudden, Sally and this little girl are outside. They're laying on the ground. Their arms and legs are open. They're taking in life. Notice the integration just happened. You didn't have to make it happen. It actually is the inevitable result of the nervous system adapting to an environment that is no longer threatening. So, that's wonderful. You want to tell them a little bit about the course coming up? Uh-oh. He's got a beautiful smile on his face, and he froze. Oh, okay, you were frozen there for a quick second.
Should be a little screen share there. And I may disappear again, so if I do, you can just jump on about the course. But it's an 8-week program that we're doing that is all about the foundation of what we were just doing there, facilitating other people. I love this concept of the foundation because really, I'm a big believer in that saying. I don't remember the exact saying. If you want to get good at something, you either teach other people or work with other people or basically train at the level as though you had to teach it. So the course isn't so much like no one has to want to facilitate or is going to be forced to facilitate other people. It's like the training to set the foundation to be able to do that. So inner reconciliation actually has courses in it, level 1, 2, 3, that you can go through at any time on GP's website. This course is like a live working together for 8 weeks, going deeper into that actual process and how to deepen it to be able to do what we're doing here. Like I was saying, as far as learning foundations, fundamentals, the more you do things like this, the better you are at facilitating yourself, the better you are at just sort of understanding the process and going deeper with it. And it's really about this process, right? It's GP has libraries and satsangs and other things that are touch on all dimensions of spirituality. And while inner reconciliation is a very integrative approach, it really is going to be about what we were doing there. Working with your feelings, working with the emotions, inviting, inquiring. And I love diving into the details of this. It's one of my favorite things to do, especially because it has practical implications in your life. When you have these sort of experiences where I feel tight and contracted and I work with something and something opens up, you actually will interact with other human beings in a different way. You will show up differently. You can do whatever your career or profession is, in my case, differently. It's your emotions are involved in everything. The stock picks you make, to from that to your comfort with money to. So I love working on the fundamentals of things because they affect everything. So talking about the foundation for facilitating is really talking about the foundation of how to work with thought, feeling, and emotion in such a level that you're actually accomplishing something with it. And I know that there can be a lot of seeming conflict with the idea of, well, there's nothing to accomplish, and it's not, but from the way I look at it, there is, right? You can stay constricted and say it's fine, and in the end, in the grand scheme of the universe, it's fine, all is well. But there's still things we can get in there and tweak and work with and experience a fuller version of what is going on in there and how it's being expressed, how it's being constricted or contracted. So I can't wait for it. As you can tell, it's something I love to do, and I love to work with people with it, GP as well. And some of you who watch GP stuff, that may be the first time you've seen him work with someone in that way, where it's not just about the awareness of what's happening, but okay, we're going to kind of dig in and go into where you feel constricted, where you feel you're unable to have fun. So if that's of interest to you, it doesn't have to be of interest to you. And I would throw out there that, especially since GP is a spiritual teacher, this might be a whole other conversation for another time. You don't necessarily even have to do this to have spiritual experiences or realize who you are. There are plenty of people who have full awakenings who don't go through a process. So at least personally, I'm not trying to sell this like you have to go and reconcile all these things and then that's the spiritual truth of life. But I've just found it to be extremely valuable in my life and my spiritual practice and all of that stuff. So that's where I'm coming from with it. And that's the kind of, with me, you'll be working on a lot of the nuts and bolts. And what do you have to say about it, GP?
Well, it's an excellent point. But I was a non-dual teacher before inner reconciliation. And I practiced many different kinds of spiritual traditions. And no matter what it was, I could only get so far, right? I'd heard the stories of the people that, had the great awakenings and that sort of thing. And they didn't go through that kind of a process. The Ramana Maharshis and Buddha just basically punished himself for 6 years until he realized it was stupid, right? So you see the various ways that it happens. But I found for myself, and then consistently for people that I had been working with, even before I realized this, is that there were these very real blocks to our self-realization. And interestingly enough, they were the same blocks of people just leading a happy life. They were traumas, wounds, parts of us we just refuse to see, which leads us to avoiding our own feelings. It leads us to self-denial. It leads us to accepting parts or a station in life that just is totally uncomfortable for us. And I also found so many ways in which people would use spirituality as just another way to suppress their own pain and their own disappointment and the like. And I said, there's got to be more. And eventually, this is what came up. And so it is. We're presenting it here in this particular context purely in its therapeutic aspect, right? And it is quite therapeutic, right? Its effectiveness, has been documented. And I've even seen, we've got therapists and scientists and the like as the number amongst our students. So there's a credibility here that it fits with the best thinking about on other subjects. The dimension that I always want to bring to it that's really important is that it isn't just therapeutic. Right? It's an inner opening so that you get the inner freedom to be able to ask the deepest kinds of questions, which is, who am I? What is life all about? What's my purpose? Without getting the immediate response from the mind, which is all just kind of programming. Well, this is what it should be, or some kind of spiritual platitude. This is the way it's supposed to be. This is what the purpose of your life. This is who you are, right? But it actually comes from the depth of you, because it's in the depth of you that these images come, whether it be a feeling in just feelings in the body that Penny was experiencing, or was it actual images and, you know, archetypal metaphorical figures appearing that you were interacting with? They're coming from the depths of you. And as you begin to reconcile with all the different kinds of energies, be reintegrating these things into your life, like the little girl, right? It opens up the door for beginning to integrate with the biggest parts of you. Because the truth of you, you know, God is a disowned voice, just like every other disowned voice within you. And I mean, just even saying something like that, you can feel the resistance to imagine that you actually are already everything you've ever been seeking. Your mind will be incredulous, but something inside you goes, gee, it feels true. How do you get to that without all the interference of our conditioning? That is the thrust of inner reconciliation. But I don't care if you're not interested in enlightenment, you know. I just want to feel safe in my own skin and not be so afraid of having money problems. Great. That's fine. Whatever it is that's motivating you towards a life that is, well, as the saying goes, end suffering, be happy. That's all there is to it. So I hope you all enjoyed that little demonstration of it, and I'm glad it was nice and evident the way it works. And I also just want to point out, notice that neither Evan nor I, we didn't do anything except ask the questions and agree with the energy. That little girl didn't want to be taken out. Okay, leave her. Stay there with her instead. There was never any agenda on our part. And the skill of learning how to do this is really coming to just kind of trust whatever the energy is doing, no matter what. No matter how weird it may seem to your mind, just agree with it and keep going and see where it leads. And that's really where the whole yoga of allowing enters in as one practicing it, is to just, okay, you want to go there? Fine, we're on our way. I've just gone 1,000 years back to a past life. Great. Tell me all about it. Or I've gone into the future. I mean, you can't imagine the things that come up. That's why it's so utterly, utterly fascinating. As Steffi said to host and panelists, wow, that's really fascinating. Yes, it is. Yeah, there's never a dull moment in our world.
I think it's good training for life too. I mean, that's kind of how I think of it, because life behaves that way. Stuff just happens. It doesn't give you that moment to go, wait, you know, I'm not supposed to get audited, or someone just stole money from my bank account, or I just fell and injured myself, or a car. Like that's how reality actually works, right? And you kind of have to be able to go, oh, okay, what's reality doing? And how am I navigating it? You know, it's like improv comedy, or, you know, I'm a jazz musician for a living, and it's really like that. And what I found it very practical in that sense, because all of the like, well, it's supposed to be like this, and why did this happen? And well, I want this to go that way. It doesn't work, and it doesn't work inside yourself either, and it doesn't work for facilitating. You can artificially create highs, and you can create experiences with people, and you can do, like, I almost call them tricks. You know, GP and I have both learned enough techniques. Like, I can sit you down, he can sit you down for 10 minutes and make you feel good. And if we want to tell you, yeah, it's because you did this thing, and now that's the meaning of it all. But in reality, it's not about just giving you a quick feel good experience, or even it's not even just like transcending your own thoughts or observing your own thoughts all the time, because that is sort of that's a thing. That's like a trick of sorts that you can do. But you can't just sit in the middle of the road and just watch everything come at you. Life is kind of happening in this way, and what you find is that when you're not resisting it, it's just happening, and you're moving with it, and you're moving in the way that you need to move in that particular moment.
Yeah,
Don't know where it's going to
perfect.
go.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, the end result of this is that it's just so open and spacious. You are incredibly resourceful, right? When we have these inner conflicts with ourselves, we're very narrow, and we show up in a situation. We show up and we get really uncomfortable. It doesn't go the way we want it, or we try to make it go the way we want it, to conform to our little world. But if that world keeps getting bigger, you show up with confidence in every situation, because no matter what comes at you, you have the inner resources to deal with it. And that's such a powerful feeling. And it makes you're just calm, a sense of equanimity all the time, right? To the degree that you're open, that you're inwardly reconciled. You're reconciling inward, you're simultaneously reconciling with life, because you no longer expect life to just go the way you think it should, which it almost never will. That's the rare occurrence. And I like the fact that you pointed that out, that there are plenty of tricks that can be done in various kinds of techniques to give you an experience in the moment. And they know that. They do it in fundamentalist churches with the music and stuff to give the person some kind of spirit. Motivational speakers know all the cues, and the right rate at which you bring them up, let them down, the whole thing. It's all very manufactured. And we don't want to do this. We're not trying to give you good feelings. We're trying to get you to be better at feeling what you are feeling with complete acceptance, right? Because just giving you a feeling is actually rejecting what you are feeling. And of course, that is the thing that created all the problems in the first place. You simply weren't allowed to be yourself. And coming back to give yourself permission to simply be what you already are, fully, and just, it's okay. It's even okay to be a schmuck. Then it's like there's this, oh my God, it's okay. All right, yes. I'm a mess right now. Okay. Can you feel the freedom of that there's nothing to hide. You are completely acceptable to yourself. And you can just imagine the effect that would have on relationship with others, right? The capacity for intimacy, the absence of judgment you hold to others, because guess what? You're just like them. We're all bozos on this bus. It just reaches out in all directions and transforms everything it touches. So I do hope you all join us for the ride. And we have, there's also different levels of the home study course that we have, and Evan and I are planning more advanced courses after this for those who really do want to become facilitators and maybe even teachers, because we'd like this to expand and grow. So if you go to that page, it'll have some more details about it, including an outline of the entire 8 weeks in PDF form that we created, as well as the links to register for the 8-week intensive. So,
yeah, we'll definitely be doing another one of these calls, probably same time, same channel next week. So for those of you watching this on YouTube, feel free to ask questions. You can ask them as a comment or send them to GP, whether that's about the course and any details of the course, or questions about inner reconciliation. If we have time on the next call, we'll have a chance to go into that a little bit more. We thrive on interacting with other people and what your questions are and how you can actually utilize this in your own life. So I hope you'll join us. As someone who, even though I facilitate it myself, there's no substitute for working with others, whichever side of that you're on. I have someone facilitate me at least once a week, and I wouldn't mind more. So it's just one of those things. It's like playing music. You can't recreate it by yourself in quite the same way. So I encourage you, and those of you on the Zoom call, to keep working with each other, keep getting together to actually practice doing it. And yeah, I look forward to doing more of this with you. And GP, thanks again. Thanks for creating this. Thanks for having me on board.
Well, it wouldn't have come to this if it hadn't been for you, because you tend to be a little bit more precise and disciplined than I am.
It goes with the job.
So, yeah. So we can kind of both take some credit.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And like I said, we will see you on the next call, and you can join GP Sunday. It's 3 p.m. now, right? I always want to say
yes.
4 p.m. 3 p.m. Eastern, GP will be live. And I think he might field, are you open to fielding interreconciliation questions during those?
Oh, sure, I do during satsang. Yeah, of course. I'll take anything up during satsang.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll see you on Sunday, some of you, and if not, we'll